Restarts after every mission. Or no, maybe I turned it back on. Hey folks. Bark. Think for it again. Oh god, there's so much more reading and 6 more codex. Elena Haley is a combat veteran and the main military general of the United Brotherhood Forces. She watches over all Brotherhood operations at the headquarters located on planet Taurus. Sorry, my throat is sore. Mom, I'm starting to hurt my throat. And it's hurting my ability to read as well. I want to say I'm butchering words more as it goes on. I kind of need a break from reading and just mindless killing things. Uh, Let me just take a quick drink and then. Let's continue. Haley was born on the planet Moria. Mariah Carey? In a small merchant town. Having lost her mother during childbirth and her father being active in the military during the Guild Wars, she strove to become something greater than simply a merchant. She was therefore requested to be enrolled into the military when she was 18. While her father wasn't overly happy with her decision, he was impressed by her dedication and quick learning. Shortly after she entered the military, she took part in the Great War as part of Santa Corhol, where she became a skillful and eventually renowned sniper. She continued to serve in military duty during the creation of the Dominion. During the start of the Second Great War in 2504, Haley had now faced Zurich on 2 separate occasions, begun to realize their universal threat. That took a while. On the planets the Dominion visited, Heya was seen to show great sorrow for the civilians who lost their homes and families to their rampage. She was eventually discouraged from helping them as their strength was needed in the core worlds. As time passed, Heya had many heated altercations with Arcturus Mengsk, who repeatedly denied her request to aid the people in Fringe Worlds. Realizing she had enough, she snapped. Together with a small band of Dominion troops who shared her beliefs, she eventually planned an elaborate attack to hijack a number of Dominion colony ships. Heya and her crew gained the Dominion's attention with an explosion at Dominion headquarters, and then proceeded to fight their way through the airport to hijack ships. Heya and her subordinates left the Dominion and never looked back. This marked the beginning of the Great Evacuation. It was never seen by the Dominion again, and a prize is currently on her head for the crime she committed. Is it prize on her head? I thought the phrase was normally price on her head. It can go either way. It's an unusual turn of phrase. The Great Evacuation was a movement that started. Sorry for hitting off my mic a moment ago. That started in 2504 during the Second Great War, and ended towards the end of year 25. That started in 2504 during the beginning of the Second Great War, and ended towards the end of the year 2506, when the Deroloth quadrant was discovered by the groups now known as United Brotherhood Forces. The Great Evacuation was initiated by Elena Haley and her ex-Dominion subordinates, whose purpose was to use a number of Dominion colony ships capable of carrying thousands of Terrans and travel across the sector to rescue people under the threat from the Zerg invasion raging within the Kapuru sector. During Haley's time with the Dominion, she noticed they made significantly less efforts to assist worlds within the furthest borders of Dominion's control. They got more resources to keep their core worlds intact. On several occasions, Dominion had the opportunity to save those without a chance of survival, but refused. This angered Haley, and failing to be convinced that Dominion Command could return and make a difference for those people, he decided to make a move herself. Together with her allies, she launched an elaborate plan to steal the Dominion colony ships, was successful, and then spent the remaining years of the Second Great War traveling across the sector, rescuing all in need. In 2506, they first arrived at the Deroloth Quadrant, and the various civilian and militia groups spread out to terraform different planets in the sector and renamed themselves the United Brotherhood Forces. I imagine they would have had to rob, apparently there's 150 million of people in this quadrant, if memory serves from an earlier comment, spread across all the worlds. that will mean if the colony ships can only have uh, thousands of Terrans, then she would have had to have a gigantic fucking fleet, and then gigantic also supply ships, and they would have had food and general stuff on the colony ships and general repair stuff. But imagine they would have also huge ships full of metal or whatever. So she stole a lot of ships. Ooh, we do get to keep the medevacs. Nice. Go for the tech lab. Tech lab. All forged hand structures. We can probably do that. So much to read. Yes, Sergeant? Don't you mean Commander Rourke? Don't be smart with me. If you desire to try and be funny, I'm not the right person for it. Come on, relax a little. Don't you Haley would understand? Everything turned out well in the end. Turned out well? I wouldn't say that. We had so much valuable time, and Force HQ would start from scratch. And the General gives you command of the operation following that? And I wouldn't question decisions of HQ, but this just seems strange to me. It may, but I ain't complaining. Of course not. Let me tell you something. You may still somehow be on Haley's good side, but don't think just because you're responsible for what goes down in this operation, that I'm letting you do whatever you please. I'll be watching you very closely during this. Make one move against Forged Hand that strays too far out of bounds, we'll be taking over command. I can't risk you causing any further trouble, or risking the future of the United Brotherhood forces. I know what my orders are. Haley's been very clear about it, and no intention of questioning them. We'll take care of this. The Forged Hand will regret ever setting foot on Taurus. Well then, let us proceed. So, Rourke, no murder fucking. Or at least keep it to a minimum. Sergeant Rourke, I've been in further contact with General Haley and HQ and have gotten unfortunate news. Oh, what's going on? There's been readings of increased movement inside the Torndune mines. Our forces dispatched there are encountering problems. The Ravagers seem to be getting more aggressive and growing in number. Ugh, great, that's all we need. However, I'm asked to tell you not to worry. You have your mission complete first and foremost. That being said, I feel I'm obliged to relay this information to you, especially since it appears you have quite a day ahead of you. Wait, so they want me to head directly towards mines once this is finished? Exactly. Your troops are the closest available forces. General Haley's troops inside of the Torndune mines have set up a defensive perimeter and control the mines for now. But once you're done here, General has requested that you move with your forces through the deserts to the mines in order to support our troops below the surface. Alright, I understand. Good thing I brought additional rations. That's all from me. I just wanted to let you know. Of course. Appreciate the info. Rourke out. With our base fully operational, we're ready to move at your command, Rourke. Where do you want us? You're awfully eager to get started today, Six. I like it. I like that. Thank you, sir. I do realize it's time is of the essence. We aim to finish this ASAP. Very true. While I do agree that the faster we eliminate the Forged Hand, the better, I do want to make sure that our forces are actually fully prepared to face them. The Forged Hand are known to be fast to react. If we attack, we have to ensure we have adequate forces to deal with their inevitable reinforcements. This is mainly a problem due to their mastery of defensive measures. They have many ways to delay us with a multitude of weapons. They can get supply depots and attach guns to them. Reaching forward on defense position not easy, even when it's not fully established. Consider the situation they're in at the moment. Imagine that the first step will be to ensure a proper defensive line. Of course, it makes sense. It is their specialty, after all, so any natural that will be their primary focus. Exactly. Just want to make sure that when our forces actually move against them, we're able to burn their outer layer of the protection down in one strike. We'll try to keep things simpler for us. Sending continuous streams of smaller assaults will only hinder us further, I believe. That's exactly when they can handle our attacks. And that will undoubtedly result in the 4chan having more time to react and send reinforcements to strengthen their position against us. Once that happens, we'll have even more trouble getting through. Good to hear we both understand the situation, so let's make something happen, brother. Roger that. These modified Predator weapons are quite interesting. Remember when they were first utilized during the Second Great War? These are so much different than the initial design, they barely feel the same. Because they aren't the same, far from it in fact. Their upgraded design leaves them with only a fraction of their initial functionality. Our engineers have worked hard to turn them into valuable assets for our arsenal. I'm most impressed with the result. Their combat potential in itself might not be seen significant improvements, but it's really their supportive capabilities that really makes them worth the expense. Their new Trailblazer ores makes them particularly effective when paired with medevac transports General supplied us with. On top of that, they may serve as frontline protection for our troops. Yeah, I'm sure we could find a place for them. Imagine our engineers would be more than happy if we took them out on a couple of field tests too. General, if I may ask for a favor. What can I do for you, Sergeant Rourke? When the base all set up, begin to prepare our attack on the Forged Hand. I figured if you had any additional info about the operation, the Forged Hand, or any potential strategies, that would be the time to share them. Well, there isn't much to tell you. We discussed mostly everything in great detail during the briefing. We did perform a scan for activity just a few minutes ago, so I suppose I should fill you in on the extent of the Forged Hand's control. That will be more than ideal. What do you got for me? You're obviously aware of the primary 4chan base located straight west of our base of operations. In order to reach it, you first need to break through the 4chan's outer defenses. Readings indicate that this is where they're spending the most resources on fortifications. Do keep in mind that this is not the only base under control by the Forged Hand. We're detecting additional smaller outposts southwest and to the north. These aren't as big of a threat, but they might be useful for additional production, which can become a potential issue. If you wish and have the time to spare, clear out those as well, but the primary base is still of most importance. If you focus on just the primary base, we can always handle the additional outposts after the main threat is removed. Okay, primary location straight west, minor bases southwest and north. Got it. Good. Good luck out there, Sergeant Rourke. Other planets may have already become part of the Forged Trading Coalition, but Taurus will never be. Right. The fact that their battalion leader had the guts to even suggest such agreement between us and them almost made me lose my mind. And their business here would have been done after your encounter with them if it wasn't for the Ravagers. Let's not forget that they have an interest in establishing security within the Quadrant because of what happened during the Second Great War. This interest in securing the sector, I believe, only occurred because of the Ravagers merging as quickly as they did. Forged Hand had experienced the damage Zero could cause once before, saw a sudden heavy movement from the Ravagers and decided to act on it. It's safe to say that they're nervous that an incident like the Second Great War will occur once more. And to some extent I believe that's what the resources acquired from Forged Trading Coalition is intended for. What do you mean? Think about it. Currently 4 separate worlds are known to be part of the Forged Trading Coalition. The biggest of these is of course Merrill 5, where their main headquarters are located. Massive extraction operations. Then there are the lush jungles of Faradal, a planet where the 4chan allegedly eradicated a staggering number of native wildlife. And lastly, the worlds of Aragon and Loghar Major, Both small, apparently 4chan won the latter from the descendants of Heya as it began colonization. That is a lot of income for just assisting in rebuilding the Puru sector. No doubt a significant portion of the extracted minerals we use to fortify their position within the quadrant. So if we keep the Ravagers in check, one can hope they'll let us handle our own worlds. All of the aforementioned worlds are 4chan controlled, so they haven't exactly been effective convincing others to join their project. Not surprising, it's a silly deal. They steal resources from others with no gain for the parties involved. Indeed, and as far as the 4chan become a more prevalent figure in the quadrant, we'll have to do well to protect the worlds that they've yet to get their hands on. Well spoken, General. And now, let the killing commence. Keyboard and mouse. Global. I did that wrong. Wonder, do they have all of the different... Yeah, they do. You can have a look in here and see the different guys. There's an investigator, commandos. Bulwark. Courtesy of 4chan, the Bulwark gains improved armor, reducing damage taken by 40% for 3 seconds. That's their Marauders. Again, the 4chan is centered all around being tanky motherfucks. Their buildings, their units, everything. And like I was saying before, they can strap guns onto supply depots. So even a supply depot can be a weapon against you. You have to be careful of them. Again, have a look at the wiki. They have all the videos on it. Now in small, bite-sized chunks. They also have a faction, just a map of big free-for-all with the different factions. So if you want to play as a faction that doesn't have a campaign yet, you can do that. Don't know what faction has what yet. Dispensing gas. Rebuild Tor. Mortality Protocol. Cyclones. Okay. It's not that bad, actually. Wish these built faster. Move. No, you bunch of... Border force detected to the east. Man, we're being engaged by mercenary scum. Initiate a counterattack. Well, I hope everyone brought in ammunition, because now we're going to have 4chan troops retaliating at any moment. Protoss flying machine. Funky, funky, rusty SCV. Yourselves in girls will soar across the stars. Okay, because it removes it because it affected its current location, increasing. Remove it from the predator because it affected its current location, and increase the predator movement speed by 6% for 4 seconds until it strikes target. Once active, the predator can pass through other units. When the effect ends, the predator takes 30% reduced damage, and the attack speed is increased by 50% for 5 seconds. Hey folks, another fucking beep rang true. Dust storms are a common occurrence in Taurus. When the dust storm is up, your unit's vision is severely reduced. You can negate this by having other units act as reviewers. Dust storms also affect enemy units. This is really not the time for dust storms to occur. I know what you mean. I can barely see what's in front of me. It might be a good idea to lay low while the storms are up. They usually don't last very long. Forge Hand's likely going to be doing the same. Moving through a dust storms into enemy territory can be a lethal mistake. Sir, we're difficult to engage with the Forge Hand while the dust storm is up. But obviously it affects them just as much as it affects us. If we wish, we can use that to our advantage and strike them while they can't reliably fight back. Doing this will prevent us from being caught by surprise by sudden Forge Hand adversaries. Alternatively, feel free to wait until the storm passes. That'll force us to spend more time before we can put this operation to close, but it might ultimately be worth it. It's your call, sir. We'll see what happens. Excuse me, apologies. There. Let's get to it. Need to get bunkers up. Keep hearing it sometimes as SCP. And it's just like, that's something very different. Looks like we're facing bad weather. We're expecting more storms approaching soon. Be careful. Jeez. Nice. Yeah, it is a turd knocked off. Just wasn't portrayed as a percent correctly, but I'm nitpicking. Sorry, I'm just get rather anal about random things. I don't know why. Wow! Increase the cargo space of medevacs by 6, increases 75%, and increases their unload speed by 0.9 seconds. 0. Oh, zero point 0.9 is right. An increase of 90%. Redesigned interior. Shit, yeah. It's not that expensive, the Predator. The way they're talking about it, I was expecting to really take a chunk out of my wallet, but it's not that bad. It's 2 Marines. It's a little over 2 Marines, and it's under gas, so it costs as much as Glide mineral wise, and twice the gas. Extra point of supplies. It's negligible. Oi! Oh, back here. I need multiple people working on this. Move. Lift up. Back here. Down. Put out 2 more. Increase the cargo space. Get those going. One, 2, 3, 4. So that's factory. That's reactor. That's reactor. 2 tech labs. That's Rourke. Haley with a status update. We had planned to supply with additional troops. We lost them in the storm. I want you to search for them. Understood. See, this is the thing I was telling you about. Yeah, they start with they get siege breakers. Oy.